Now, we're not talking about the type of like pain that's like abusive, none of that kind of stuff. We don't condone that type of stuff. We're talking about the general pain we all experience in relationships. The pain is there for a reason. It's not there to traumatize you. Pain is there to show you what's important, what you have to focus, and what you can and cannot do. And these things naturally makes people fall in love with you. Without the pain, there cannot be pleasure. So we're gonna be talking about how to give them the right amount of pain that makes them fall in love with you. Okay. And again, if you're going to be using this to hurt people on purpose, then I don't know what you believe, but I believe in karma. And I think that if you do this type of stuff, karma eventually is going to get back to you. It's just that simple. Okay. Now, if you guys ever want to check more of this type of content out, you guys can check out my Patreon right here, as you guys can see. Let me show you guys. Because in my Patreon, you guys can watch these types of videos, a bunch of different Robert Greene book club videos. You guys can watch it by being members of the Patreon. Okay. Tomorrow I'm gonna be uploading this full video. It's gonna be like an hour. I think I have to upload part 2, right? Of this one. Yeah, actually I gotta upload part 2 of this one, right? But anyways, yeah, so we're gonna be posting a longer version of this one if you guys are interested. Okay, so let's begin with this. And because this is one of those chapters that a lot of people have a hard time applying. And the reason why people have a hard time applying this chapter is because they're not used to thinking about love this way. It's taboo. Truth is that you always end up falling in love with people who kind of creates a little bit of stress. We're not talking about debilitating stress, like just like stress. You have eustress, which is healthy for you, and then you have like chronic stress, which is not good. This is that kind of a healthy pain, the kind of healthy pain that allows a child to appreciate their parents, the type of healthy pain that allows a lover who took you for granted to realize that, you know what, you're worth more. These things are important, people. Do not see this as a negative, okay? And if you do this as a way to manipulate people, to gaslight people, that's when karma is gonna get you. All right, so let's begin with this. And if you guys want to join the Robert Greene Book Club, it starts at $5 a month. One inflation-driven cup of coffee, okay, in New York City. So with just that, you guys can support this movement where I'm trying to help people to empower themselves, and a lot of people have benefited from those types of videos. So I would like for you to actually share the wealth and show other people, and give them that liberation from their selves, if that makes any sense. Let's continue.
20. Mix pleasure with pain. Almost everyone is more or less polite. We learn early on not to tell people what we really think of them. We smile at their jokes, act interested in their stories and problems. It is the only way to live with them. Eventually, this becomes a habit. We are nice even when it isn't really necessary. We try to please other people, to not step on their toes, to avoid disagreements and conflict. Niceness in seduction, however, though it may at first draw someone to you, it is soothing and comforting, soon loses all effect.
Just like too much harshness makes people resentful and hate you, too much niceness also has that effect. You guys have to see the nice and the cruelty as a type of dish. You have your warm dish and your cold dish. You have the crunchy part of a dish, and then you have the soft part of the dish. You have the salty part and the sweet part. This is too much salt. It's not good in a dish. Too much sweetness, it's not good, right? Imagine something sweet. You want a little bit of saltiness in that sweetness, right? That's how you have to see it, And I understand people watch this and they feel bad, because I kind of get it. I also get a little uncomfortable with it. But if you really pay attention, this is what is the catalyst to make people realize that they like you.
Being too nice can literally push the target away from you. Erotic feeling depends on the creation of tension. Without tension, without anxiety and suspense, there can be no feeling of release, of true pleasure and joy. It is your task to create that tension in the target. to stimulate feelings of anxiety and to lead them to and fro so that the culmination of the seduction has real weight and intensity.
Damn, okay.
So rid yourself of your nasty habit of avoiding conflict, which is in any case unnatural. You are most often nice not out of your own inner goodness, but out of fear of displeasing, out of insecurity.
Now look, he says rid yourself of your aversion to avoid conflict, right? Now, notice this, right? This is the part that I'm telling you that this is not bad, okay? Oh my God, he has a fucking guilty conscience. It's that these conflicts naturally arise. I remember one time this girl, her and her friend, they came over and we made food, right? It was during the pandemic, and she and her friend came and I cooked for them, right? No, they cooked for me in the morning, and it was just friends. They were just visiting, and they left the dishes dirty, and I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, I guess they cooked, all right. The next time that happened, I cooked, and I left the dishes. They left. They didn't wash the dishes, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, what happened? I decided to keep it to myself. I didn't say nothing, right? Now, this is what I mean, right? These things are little things, okay? I know it's little, but it's important to tell people, hey man, wash the dishes, okay? If I cook for you, I expect you to wash the dishes. I didn't do that because I felt uncomfortable. I felt, I didn't want to make a scene. And it wasn't going to be a scene, but this is what he's talking about. These are things that would definitely hurt their feelings. These are uncomfortable conversations. It may not last long. It might just be a few seconds and it's over. But those are things that most people don't want to do. And this could have inflicted some pain. A little awkwardness. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. Next time I'll make sure to do that. And you might not think it's big, but this does hurt a person's feelings. You mentioning their mistakes, it does hurt a person's feelings. So this is why this strategy is so important, because this is not telling you to go out here and be a bunch of Terminators causing problems. No, what this is saying is that what I am trying to tell you is that conflict will arise. Don't be afraid to hurt them in the process of that conflict. Sometimes you got to call people out on their behavior, and you might think that they might not forgive you for hurting them. They might not forgive you for calling them out. First of all, if they don't, red flag, walk away. And two, they'll forgive you. And the reconciliation of forgiveness, the reconciliation is even more pleasurable. You know what I'm saying? I should have done that. I should have called them out on it. In the long run, it wasn't a big deal, right? But I'm saying that life offers you moments to apply this. And you'll notice that the bosses who rarely give out praise, but also the bosses who are harsh, but also really nice to their underlings, they tend to have more employees who are loyal. I talked about it in the video in my last video about that, but I don't want to get too ahead.
Go beyond that fear and you suddenly have options. The freedom to create pain, then magically dissolve it. Your seductive powers will increase tenfold. People will be less upset by your hurtful actions than you might imagine. In the world today, we often feel starved for experience. We crave emotion, even if it is negative. The pain you cause your targets then is bracing. It makes them feel more alive. They have something to complain about. They get to play the victim. As a result, once you have turned the pain into pleasure, they will readily forgive you. Stir up their jealousy, make them feel insecure, and the validation you later give their ego by preferring them over their rivals is doubly delightful.
But that's the thing, is that people are just more forgiving than we like to imagine. You know, people are more forgiving. You can make somebody feel jealous, and they're gonna act like, you know what, you made me feel jealous, I'm leaving, I'm never seeing you again. What people who are on the other end tend to always notice is that they end up coming back to you. And this is not an encouragement to use this to hurt people. This is an encouragement to don't avoid conflict. You're not going to lose them. They're not going to leave. They're just going to respect you more. You know, they do something that's irking you a little bit. Call them out on it. Be a little harsh. You know, be a little straightforward. Be very straightforward. Show them another side to your personality. Use those moments of when they make mistakes, which everyone will, and in which you will make mistakes, as a way to show people your fangs. And also the moments when you make mistakes, use those moments to show that you're humble, to show that you're as willing to dish it out and also equally as willing to take it, you know. And these things do have a powerful effect. And I can promise you, the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because every single person has had a lot of opportunities to apply this, and they didn't do it because they were afraid. They think that pain, little moments of conflicts of you calling people out, makes them resentful, or they might leave you. What happens is that their self-esteem for that moment lowers because they disappointed you. It's just human nature, and they did, but now you're calling them out on it. And then what you do is after you do that, then you treat them, you go a little bit out of your way to be a little nicer, right? To soothe them, make them feel good, or even say thank you for hearing me out. Let's do this as a reward, right? Those things will solidify a not an emotion, but it'll create that pattern that we're talking about, mixing pain and pleasure. It's like when we mess up with our parents, right? We make mistakes with our parents. What tends to happen is that when we make mistakes, they tend to punish us, but then after the punishment, like a freaking psycho, they buy us ice cream, right? or even like when my mom used to get mad at me. You know, let's just say I came home late, whatever. She'll be mad at me, and it seemed like it seemed like I should call the cops on her ass. But then after she tells me everything, then she'll say, "There's food for you in the dinner. There's food for you in the kitchen," right? That pain and pleasure creates a bond, because what that says is that only someone who I really like, only someone who I feel like it's family, do we go through that cycle of pain and pleasure, because families go through this cycle a lot. They're not afraid. You know what I'm saying? Most family are not afraid to call the other family member out on bullshit. But they also equally have great moments, and that's what strengthens the bonds. That's why friends who are not able to have these moments of conflict, who are too on the acquaintance side, they never really develop that bond with each other, because pain and pleasure, which comes in the form of conflict, you and your friends, you having arguments with your friends. Even when I was a kid, I used to fight with my friends, and then the next day we'll be cool. You know, those types of pain and pleasure that you guys go through is what creates and strengthens a bond. But if you're not able to call out your friend on his bullshit, to have arguments, or even to have days that you don't even talk, right? And then a few weeks later you reconciliate. If you can't do that, you guys are not real friends. I have a friend, Will, right? We fought one time and we didn't talk for, I don't know, like a year or two, something like that. I didn't hate the guy, man. It was just ego, you know what I'm saying? We would hang out with our friend Stevie, and like we would talk between Stevie. We wouldn't address each other, but we would say, "Hey, Stevie," at one point was like, "Y'all, man, y'all gotta fucking stop this shit, man." You guys are always putting me in between. I don't know what happened. Something happened where we just started talking again, right? But that's because you're friends. You know what I'm saying? Only friends can do that. If you guys are not really friends, moments of conflict will mean the end. You have to be able to tell your friend to go fuck yourself. Don't talk to me. You have to be able to say, dude, what the fuck was that about? You gotta be able to hurt them. You get what I'm saying? And still, they gotta be able to hurt you. And at the same time, you're still gonna be there. That's what creates that bond, you know. And you gotta find a way to get to this point. Not quickly, but try to get to this point. There's so many ways to do that, but
Remember, you have more to fear by boring your targets than by shaking them up. Wounding people binds them to you more deeply than kindness. Create tension so you can release it.
Yeah, it's like the best time to have a fight is before Valentine's Day, before your anniversary, right? Those things are important, man. It's there's something conflict brings people together. That's just how that works. Wars bring people together, and conflict brings people together. If you and somebody hurts you, that conflict, if you guys work on it, will bring you together. Like even married couples who've been together for a long time, they'll tell you that usually the best moments come after a conflict, and that's why conflict resolution is so important. If you don't have conflict resolution, you can't really get to this point where you guys can inflict pain on each other, not in an evil way, but through just the natural progression of a relationship. Motherfucker, any motherfuckers who say that this never happens, then I want to meet you, Jesus, whoever you are, right? Because I always have the angel commenters who say that none of the shit that I say, that say that they're not fucking humans, that confess that they're Terminators. Anyways, conflict resolution is very important for this. But if you never, if like, for example, it's like hurting someone and then apologizing for it, right? Okay, if you do that a lot, then you got a problem, right? But generally speaking, more negative things happen when you try to not have conflict than when you have conflict. I just believe that testing the relationship by allowing conflict and those types of things to arise tests your relationship. It just does, I sound toxic right now. I mean, I'm telling people, it's important. It's important to fight, but yes, it is, because you don't really know how much they really love you by when there's only peacetime. You know who's really about you when there's problems. When you guys are arguing and you guys fight, that's how you know this person's real character. And that's why I'm telling you, if you want to be able to inflict pain and provide pleasure, you also have to be a willing participant in that too. You also, if you mess up and they pull away, that means that you're not gonna be doing that strategy. Oh, now they're pulling away after I fucked up. Father Alex, how do I get them back? No, you gotta go back to them. You gotta go back to them and humble yourself to them. Give them that pleasure. Also, it's not just about you. Then when that happens, then when it's their turn, boom, and that. And for me, it's all about not holding grudges, being more than happy to admit your mistakes, because at the least, think about it from this perspective, it just makes them like you more, so you go back to someone who, if you made a mistake, it's okay to double text them when you're the one that fucked up, so that then when it's their turn and they fuck up, then they'll also do the same thing. But if you develop an ego and you don't chase and you don't humble yourself when you make a mistake, then when it's their turn, they're gonna marry you. So it's kind of like, that's how that works.
If you need inspiration, find the part of the target that most irritates you and use it as a springboard for some therapeutic conflict. The more real your cruelty, the more effective it is.
So he's talking about criticism. We all have things that we don't like about ourselves. And if you criticize someone about something that they know they have a flaw in, and you call them out on it, then that's a really good way to do it. For example, being late on a date. An example of that is a girl that I was dating who was late a lot, right? I literally stopped going out with her after like after third or fourth date. She was like 30, 40 minutes late. And I'm like, look, man, I'm leaving. I know you're Mexican, but if this is how it is, then I'm moving to Cuba, girl. I'm not dealing with this shit, And she never wanted to be on time. And so I left. Did she come back? No, she didn't. Right? So the conflict, this could have inflicted pain, and it didn't hurt her. So the inflicting pain is not just about making them feel the pain and pleasure, but it also reveals how much they actually like you. You know what I'm saying?
In 1818, the French writer Stendhal, then living in Milan, met the Countess Matilda Viscontini. For him, it was...
We're going to finish this by tomorrow. So if you guys want to become part of the Robert Greene Book Club to get these types of videos, click on the description down below where it says become a member. You guys can see this right here. I'm going to put it up for you guys. Boom, boom. Let me show you the memberships. You guys, so as you guys can hear, for $5 a month, there you go. You guys can get access to the Robert Greene Book Club videos, and then for $10 a month, you get the audio of the Robert Greene Book Club video, and you guys can ask me a question. I gotta put that. You guys can ask me one question per month by being a part of this, and then you have the Like a Boss. With this one, you guys can have access to the Robert Greene Book Club, and you guys can ask me 2 questions. It's 2 questions, people. I don't know why I put that. Why I sound so angry. Only 100 words or less. Right, and then the Mindful Master, you get all those benefits plus a drawing, and that's all for $5 a month. And what you guys can do, with this, you guys can support me, because with this, I'm trying to help people out. You know, I'm trying to give people a Machiavellian spirituality per se, where you guys learn about spirituality, but also you guys have a Machiavellian side, not evil, but you're willing to play a little dirty, spiritual dirty warfare, if that makes any sense. But it is true, there's too many passive spiritual people, and I believe this message will invigorate people to become stronger, to not get manipulated, to not join crazy cults, and all that kind of stuff. So click in the description down below to support that, to help people out. And if you guys have a family member that you believe could use this message in their life, this empowering message, just send them to these videos, and I'll see you guys there. Or else I'm gonna have to close the channel. Take care.